How would you describe recent events at Ceuta in Spain? An unregulated arrival of migrants, an uncoordinated influx, an unplanned breach, an irregular entry of migrants, a surge of illegal migrants, or an invasion?
Nigel Cecil, calling things out.
Hello, Chapabatis, welcome. Thank you for joining my very good friend Hilary and me, Nigel Cecil, together responding as always to the comments, views, observations and questions sent into our usual email address by our regular viewers. The question for this video you're asking, is it now true to say that more than ever, many members of Parliament are failing to keep in touch with their grassroots constituency members? You're kind of saying that events in Ceuta in Spain highlight this because politicians seem reluctant to call it an invasion. And would it be right to call it an invasion? Or is it more correct to say, well, it's an unregulated, unplanned entry, a surge, a flood of illegal migrants? Don't you dare call it an invasion. Well, what would you call it as a grassroots constituency member? Tris Osborne, the Labour MP for Chatham and Aylesford, was interviewed by Emily Carver on GB News. Now, first of all, just like Heidi Alexander in a previous video, did they answer the question, is it an invasion? What do you think it is? Come on, we've always said, when it comes to communicating, politicians give the answer first. But let's just look at what Trish Osborne happened to do.
Was it an invasion, in your view?
So it is absolutely the case that migration remains a challenge for all European countries, and this is just the latest example.
Well, would you call it an invasion, though?
So, well, it was clearly an unregulated entry. I'm not going to use that term because I don't think it was planned. It looked like it was an unplanned move by people to enter the territory. But clearly what we now need to see...
Tris Osborne, Labour MP, an unplanned move to enter the territory. Don't you dare call it an invasion. But what about the Conservatives? Rebecca Paul, the Conservative MP for Reigate, were doing their best to avoid answering the question. Answer the question, will you? Why won't you call it an invasion?
Do you believe what we've seen as an invasion?
So I think the images are devastating.
Why don't politicians want to use that word invasion? Because that's what people are describing it as.
Because an invasion is coordinated and planned.
Did it not seem coordinated? 60,000.
Rebecca Paul, MP, don't you call it an invasion? It can't be called an invasion because it wasn't planned, it wasn't coordinated. Hey, but here's where we get to it. Have you heard that phrase? That call a spade and not a shovel. Because at the grassroots, there's something many of us do, especially on a Saturday. We go to football matches. Now, have you seen the way it's described when fans go onto a football pitch? Uninvited, maybe invited sometimes, but even one person running onto the pitch is classed as an invader. Headlines everywhere, fans invade the pitch. So if fans, just a few, can be accused of invading a pitch, how come thousands illegally entering a country, especially with all the mayhem they were causing, not even on a friendly basis, is not an invasion? And this is where is the word dichotomy, Hilary. I'm never sure about some of the words, but somebody will correct us. It seems a complete contrast. When it comes to football, it's okay to call it an invasion. But when it comes to migrants, don't you dare. Don't you believe it's about football? Well, have a look. Looking at football fans, therefore, is it not understandable why many grassroots constituency members will look at events at Ceuta in Spain and say it's an invasion? Just a few people invading a football pitch, even in a celebration, are surely not invaders when it comes to comparing events in Spain. And if you are calling football fans invaders, then there can be no doubt in many constituency members' mind that events in Ceuta was an invasion. Politicians, a spade and not a shovel, and politicians seem to be wanting, well, to get their message across, the message they want to promote, to call a spade a shovel. And that means, amongst our comments, there's quite a number saying, well, when it comes to calling a spade and not a shovel, you better, Nigel, tell MPs to stick their shovel and their cobbler somewhere else. Well, all meant in the best possible taste, of course. But what do you think? Are MPs now, more the merrier it would seem, reluctant to call a spade, and they try saying, well, it's a shovel? Come on, where should MPs shovel things? Do let us know by getting in touch via our usual email address. But the overarching conclusion of our regular viewers is events in Ceuta in Spain was an invasion.